So while I've been recovering from my wisdom teeth surgery, I thought it would be a good idea to actually go through on my phone and look at all of the possible 2024 AFL free agents, the players who are potentially requesting a trade, those who are maybe even up for trade, and actually go over with you guys today where I think these players are going to go and pretty much use all the research and information that I know to kind of give you guys that best opinion. Where is this player going to go and fucking leave to next? So again, I've done hours of research. I've literally put almost more hours into doing this stuff than probably hours I've put on fucking Pornhub at this rate. So that's how many hours I have legitimately put into the research for this video. But we'll start off with the Richmond trio of Jack Graham, Shai Bolton, and of course Liam Baker. I won't get into Daniel Rioli because I think everyone and their dad knows he's going to the Gold Coast Suns. I think that's pretty obvious. Again, there would have to be some massive backflip situation for Daniel Rioli to somehow be on the Tigers next year, or maybe even be traded to the Shanghai Sharks. But we'll start off with Liam Baker, who it's very much up in the air where he is going to go. He has just requested a trade to the West. Again, being that I have said this for a while now, I think Liam Baker will pick West Coast as his preferred team. Again, that's who he went for as a kid. I believe they're offering the most money. They're also in talks right now at potentially hiring Andrew McQualter as their next head coach, who Liam Baker was obviously very, very fond of, it seems to be. So I think even though Fremantle are offering a pretty good deal, it makes more sense for him to go there. He can play midfield and half back, where Freo, he probably would have to play high half forward and pinches a midfield. And I just think he's way better down back or just as a full-time midfielder. Jack Graham as well. Again, it was said that Richmond offered him a 3-year deal, but West Coast came out of nowhere and offered him a 4-year deal. Again, he's not going to go to Adelaide or Port Adelaide like some people are saying. Even if they do offer him a deal, they're going to be nowhere near as long as the West Coast offers, as the Richmond offers. But the thing is, we recently heard that Richmond did offer the same years to keep Jack Graham to the team. So I think, unfortunately, because I'm not too much of a fan of Jack Graham as a Tigers fan anymore, I think he's actually going to re-sign with the Tigers. But if the West Coast Eagles do hire Andrew McQualter to be their new coach, as I said with Liam Baker, I think Jack Graham will also go to West Coast if they do make that move. So it's probably like a 60% he stays now, 40% he goes to West Coast, because I think it's a massive chance that they do hire Andrew McQualter. And look, that 4-year offer might be too much for him to also say no to it. Probably will be on more money than Richmond. Then we got Shai Bolton. Apparently West Coast are still interested in him. I think he gets done to Fremantle. They have 3 first-round picks. Richmond can basically choose where they want to trade this guy. He is contracted for 4 years, so he is not going to be going anywhere if Richmond can't figure out a deal. But they will. They will get this deal done with Fremantle. They have all the first-round picks in the world to offer the Tigers, so this deal will get done. We've also got Kozzy Pickett, who went into the Melbourne meeting pretty unhappy, similar to Christian Petrarca. Again, I think Kozzy Pickett does stay at Melbourne. It was said he doesn't want to go to Port or Adelaide. The teams he would be interested in was West Coast or Freo, and it was said he would be picking Freo if he did move. I do think he stays in Melbourne at the time of making this video. I think they're going to try and hold on to all of these guys and not exactly blow it up and make this big thing. Again, that's the same thing with Christian Petrarca. He is 100% a lock to stay at Melbourne next year. Bailey Smith, who is out of contract, has been linked to Hawthorn, Collingwood, and Geelong. I think Hawthorn, they're not going to be able to get this deal done. They're bringing in Barras and Battle, so they're not going to be able to get this deal done. They'll be out of the Bailey Smith race. I think Collingwood, they desperately need him, but they don't really have the picks, and I don't think they have major salary cap until like next year or the year after is when they finally get some room to move around. So it's out of the Dogs and the Cats. At the time making this video, he's actually having his exit meeting. So I think he will be requesting a trade to the Cats. If he has while I'm editing it, you'll probably see it come up on my screen. I do think he does get to the Geelong Football Club as a free agent. Dogs will probably try and match it, and then Geelong will just trade their first round pick away this year and probably get the deal done. Again, the guy hasn't played footy in like a year. That's just what they're saying the trade is. Will the Dogs ask for more? Probably, but I really don't know. I think he just gets to Geelong semi-easily. We've got Seb Ross now, who is also a free agent because St Kilda delisted him. Again, didn't have the greatest year, but he's been pretty good over the last couple of years. I think he will get to another AFL club. He's been linked to North Melbourne due to the fact that they're looking for a veteran midfielder that they can bring in who can help out this really young midfield that they've got. Again, I'm going to drop a bombshell here for you guys. I don't know if this is true or anything like that, but I do think he will actually get to Collingwood. I think, as I said with Bailey Smith, Collingwood are desperately trying to improve their inside midfield stocks, and they probably don't have the most salary cap, and they don't really have the most picks right now. So they're going to want to be bringing in a guy who's cheap, who can just come in if Tom Mitchell, say, gets injured again, if Lipinski gets injured, right? They missed a lot of these inside midfielders this year because of injuries like Tom Mitchell, as I said. They're going to be looking for a cheap replacement who can just come in and play 5 to 10 games maybe for them next year and maybe the year after. And I think Seb Ross would be happy with that. He's just trying to play senior footy again. And I think he can definitely work his way into that Collingwood team, especially if injuries do manage to come up. We also have Dan Houston, who was linked to a ton of Melbourne clubs. Again, he wanted to be traded, but then backed down and said, I don't want to be traded anymore. The reason he didn't want to be traded anymore is because there were not enough teams that were truly interested in him because of how expensive his contract is and how Port Adelaide were asking for 2 first-round picks. The only teams who could have met that were St Kilda and Richmond, really, and maybe Melbourne. Rumours has it he said he didn't like Melbourne. Richmond are rebuilding, and Saints probably need to bring in some picks to their team. I think he's 100% staying in Port Adelaide now. This could be a thing for next year. He's also contracted for like another 4 years, so I just don't see how this gets done really anytime soon. And speaking of these contracted players potentially up for trade and whatnot, is Ben Hobbs and Elijah Sardis. I reported this on the channel that I think Richmond will very much be interested in both of them. They're definitely going to go for Sardis. I think Hobbs is just not that good. And I mean, I'm not going to be the first guy to tell you that. Essendon fans will be the first guy to tell you that he's not that good. I just don't know. He's been in the AFL for 3 years, cannot get a game in Essendon's midfield. Elijah Sardis is similar, but he's been dominating in the VFL. He should 100% be playing every game next year. He's still got a lot of value in this league. It could be an end of first round pick or a second round pick and some other compensation. I don't really know what it's going to be. Ben Hobbs' value is not so much, and teams are going to really lowball Essendon for him, and Essendon are going to be like, well, we want more, and it's just not going to work. So it's probably better for them just to keep these guys on their team and try and see if they can get them to be better, especially Hobbs, and then work their way from there. I think if anyone moves, it's Elijah Sardis to Richmond. It's probably like a 10% chance, but again, you can never say never. They could really approach him with a really good deal. And look, Essendon literally didn't give him any games. He had like a 41 disposal and a goal game in the VFL and still didn't get picked the week after. It's like, how much more can he do? I think Richmond will offer a deal. I think they'll offer a trade. It probably won't get done because it won't be what Essendon wants. But yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how this all does pan out. Again, I'd highly recommend you guys please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Comment your thoughts and opinions on this all down below. Do you guys agree with my trade rumors and news and all of this type of stuff? I'd very much like to know. Don't forget to subscribe to my gaming channel and my IRL/vlog channels, which will be getting linked in the description down below. But as I was saying, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.